Hey, Dr. Brett.
Hey, Ashley.
What is the best communication advice you can give to anybody?
Say it straight, and a lot of people will not necessarily agree with that because sometimes you will take it on the chin. But I like it when you say it straight because when you learn to say it straight, eventually what happens is if you practice enough, you can actually say it straight in really kind and decent ways with practice. In the beginning, it might be hard to find that balance, but you're better off saying it straight than you are avoiding or not saying it at all. Because if you avoid or don't address things, most of the time you're going to wind up angry, resentful, or passive aggressive.
How do you teach athletes to communicate with coaches, though? Because coaches
Well, that
sometimes
one's
don't
going to be
listen.
similar to, yeah, thanks, Ashley. It's going to be similar to say it straight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is, hey, coach, you know what I mean? I haven't been playing. I really want to address what's going on here. Can you give me some real feedback, right? And then you find out what that is, what's in the way. And then that helps you make better decisions. Sometimes you have to transfer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a tweaking you need to make. Sometimes the coaches, I often say, 1 out of 2 coaches is a shitty communicator. And every athlete I say that to says it's way more
Way more
than
than
one
one.
out
I,
of two.
100%.
But I like to be graceful as much as possible.
Because I thought the same thing as soon as you said. I was like,
Yeah,
1 out of 2.
totally.
It's like
Yeah.
all of them. Like, how do you teach the coaches? Maybe you're being a little too tough, or maybe not too tough, but you're just doing it wrong.
Well, I'm coaching a head coach now, right? And, if they're willing to do a personal growth journey and they're willing to get feedback, then pretty much everybody can tweak their game and improve their game, right? The art of coaching is like leadership, right? It's like knowing when to be tough and knowing when to be kind and knowing when to give someone a hug and when to be motivational and when to fucking say nothing.
When to say nothing. When in doubt, just shut up. No, but okay. So the coaches, do you teach the coaches to communicate with the parents as well? Because they have dance moms. I'm sure they have football moms.
Yeah, well, so that's a hard part of their job, right? Is communicating with parents can be hard, right? Because some parents are nasty as well. What if the coach has got an easygoing sort of style, which does happen, and the parents are super aggressive? That's not going to be easy. But that said, read never split the difference, right? There you go. But there are ways to communicate that are highly effective, especially when dealing with conflict. Instead of you are, it's always like some form of seems like, sounds like, feels like. It seems like you're pretty upset right now, and then the person blasts you. You know what I mean? Like as soon as you say that, but
Seems like.
you're right. But then then it becomes about them, not about you, right?
Yeah.
It's like, what I mean? And then you're able to walk them through what it is that they're angry about. What I mean? Instead of making it about you, you're actually asking them questions about them, and they sort of can tire themselves out. I've done this effectively many times. And then there are times when you're dealing with a stranger who might be dangerous, it's time to just shut up and say nothing.
Right. It seems like a lot of this involves some empathy. So, do you think, obviously we're missing a lot of empathy in this world, but is that something you teach too? You teach people how to
I
feel
like genuine empathy, but there are situations where tactical empathy has value. If you're being attacked and you act empathic, that's going to have value because it takes people down. I like genuine empathy where you actually care. Right?
Can you teach that?
Yes, you can teach that. Some people are more empathic by nature than others. That's why you have nurses versus investment bankers, for
I was going to say
instance.
nurses versus doctors.
Maybe that too. Nurses versus surgeons or something, right? Where you cut it, if you can't see it, if you can't cut it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Something like that. But so there are some stereotypes that have some validity, right? So like a preschool teacher is going to be way more empathic in general than your average plastic surgeon or investment banker or private equity dude, right? These are fields that are going to pull for certain personality traits, right?
Have you ever dealt with a client who just had no empathy?
Yeah, many, 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 many times, right? And so I'm either going to help them develop some empathy or they're going to quit, right? And that's okay. I'm not for everybody.